available now on streaming services through Kino Now, which is a Kino Lorber film distribution company. They're allowing theaters to basically get a taste of the movies they would be showing in the theater and allow people who would normally be patronizing a theater, and I don't mean be condescending to a theater, but I mean spending money at a theater, to funnel a little cash toward their favorite theater. So if you go to certain movie theaters, Alamo Drafthouse is the one that I chose to support in this case, or local theaters that are part of this virtual screening room, they often will call it on their website. You can select a movie and basically rent that movie online or through your Roku onto your TV, and some of the money that you are paying for that will go to the movie theater. So it's kind of like you're still supporting a theater from the comfort of your own home, which is something I like to do. Support a theater and be in the comfort of my own home, or someone else's in this case. So what the film I'm going to talk about is a film, a Brazilian-French co-production that was just about to go into theaters when all of this hit, called BACURAU. It stars Udo Kier, is I believe really the only really recognizable face or name in this film. And it is a story that takes place in a small remote Brazilian village where something is going on. Something unusual is going on in this village. The villagers are very isolated. Their water has been shut off. They find that they go to look at themselves on a map and they're not on the map anymore. And just bizarre, strange little goings on occur. Eventually, I don't want to say too much about the plot because surprises is all this movie has going for it. Eventually, a band of soldiers or mercenaries shows up and things get strange and violent. So, Bacurau. This is a film I'd heard about. I'd heard some people I know and respect say they saw it and liked it. It has very interesting poster art, like painted poster art, prominently featuring the one person you've heard of, Udo Kier, on the poster. And we watched it just the other night. And boy, did I really kind of hate it. It was a whole lot of nothing going on. Come on over, baby. Whole lot of nothing going on, to paraquote Jerry Lee Lewis. This is a film where it uses a lot of non-actors, people who probably are from the village where they shot it, which is totally cool. I like a lot of movies that do that. Easy Rider did that. Deliverance did that. It's incredibly effective to make you feel like you're watching real people. The problem is the things these non-actors were saying weren't interesting. These scenes would just go on and go and meander in no particular direction, and then you'd cut to something else, and you'd be like, was there any point to that? Many times as we were watching it, Val would turn to me with a withering glance, and I would just look angry because this movie was going on and on and on. And it's always a problem for me when I don't mind a slow movie. I don't mind a long movie. It just has to be interesting and good. And it doesn't have to be all action. It doesn't have to be lasers and people riding dinosaurs, motorcycles jumping on trains. All of those help, but it doesn't have to be any of those. This film was one of those where I realize I'm a substantial way into this movie and it feels like it hasn't started yet. It feels like the story hasn't clicked or gotten into gear. And at one point we stopped the film. This film is 2 hours and 11 minutes, which again is not a length that makes me afraid, but when you pause the movie to make dinner and you've been watching it for an hour and you have an hour and 11 minutes yet and it feels like the movie hasn't gotten started yet, there's a little bit of a problem. So yeah, occasionally there are nice shots. Occasionally the color is nice, but it is so, to me, poorly made and constructed. These twists happen in the story and it makes the film no more interesting than it was. It doesn't make it any interesting at all. You get these long situations where it's predominantly in Spanish or Portuguese. It is subtitled. Then we have this other group of people come in and it's in English, and they're all bad actors. They're bad actors delivering terrible dialogue with scenes that go nowhere. And we're watching it going, what is this? None of this makes sense. And you keep watching it to get to the end. I did it for you. We keep watching to get to the end to see, is there ever an explanation? Is there a message? Is there a theme? I theorized that vampirism was involved, and that would have been far preferable to what we got. Something eventually does happen, and you sort of kind of get an explanation of it, but after 2 hours and 11 minutes of tedium and just simmering, bubbling anger about this thing that is wasting your time, I said to Val, I said when we had it paused, there is no explanation, there is no incident, there's nothing that's going to happen in this movie that's going to turn around how much I already hate this. You can't make me hate something for an hour solid or bore me senseless for an hour and then turn it around. And if you do, you've wasted that first hour. This movie could have been 90 minutes. 90 minutes may have been pushing it for what this movie was. It was just boring and occasionally pretentious and very poorly made here and there. Occasionally it was well made. Yes, Udo Kier is in it. Fine, Udo Kier is in it. Udo Kier has been in some great movies over the span of his, 50-year career. Doesn't mean him being in it's going to make it good. Good actors have to be given something to do. All of the great actors of all time have been in terrible films because they were bad movies. This movie, he has some dialogue and he yells a little bit and he mumbles a little bit and whatever. I hated Bacurau. It was just a waste of my time. Now, it stung a little bit because the way this works financially is that you rent it and you tell Kino what theater you're giving that money to, and then you have like a day or two to watch it. We had rented this, we meaning not me, had rented this on the road when I was on vacation, and we didn't get around to watching it. So that money went to the Jacob Burns Film Center. Great, good organization. And then we were both trying to figure out how to get this onto our TV, the Samsung TV that we're using. There's a Kino Now app that you can get for Roku that allows you, if you have a Roku, to watch it on any TV, but the TV we have doesn't have that. And we find that certain streaming services, Shudder being one of them, doesn't have an app that will work with the Samsung TV. So you kind of have to figure out another way to do it or watch it somewhere else. I hooked up my laptop wirelessly to the TV so we could watch it that way. Not horrendously successful, but it worked well enough. But somehow in me trying to set up a Kino Now account and Val already doing it, we both paid for that screening. So collectively, she paid $24 to watch this terrible film, and I paid $12. Now, if this had just gone to Kino, and by the way, I respect Kino. Kino is great. I'm watching this movie thinking, why did they pick this up for distribution? It's not good. It can't be that they think, oh, I don't know. Some people like it. If you have seen Bacurau and liked it, please message me or leave a comment on Facebook or wherever and let me know why. Because we're both legitimately interested in knowing what we missed, apparently, from this excruciatingly boring, half-assed film. We are glad that we have contributed to the Alamo Drafthouse Yonkers and Jacob Burns Film Center in attempting to eventually watch this terrible film. And we'll continue to use this method while all the theaters are shut down. It's a way for us to see new movies, and it's a way for the theaters to still make some kind of money. As I'm saying, some theaters, if you follow your local theater on Facebook or look at their website, they are finding ways to generate income during the shutdown. So I will say, yes, if you're wanting to watch this through the Alamo Drafthouse app, it was incredibly difficult for us to do that. It took a very circuitous way of making it work. So don't give up, there is a way to do it. You can also go straight through the Kino Now site, but I think if you do it that way, you're just giving the money to Kino. At any rate, Bacurau 2019, 2020, really did not enjoy.